Hello, my most amazing artists. Today we're going to be cutting out our self-portraits. Those are the pictures that Miss Q took of you after you finished your paintings. Miss Q already went ahead and drew a line around your picture. That line is going to be important because that's going to show where you are going to cut your picture. Now, it's very important today that we do not cut any important body parts off. We would never want to cut off our heads or arms or our legs. So when we're holding our scissors, we never hold them any other way except for like this, with our thumb in the top and other fingers in the bottom. You also never want to cut towards your body. Always cutting away from your body. Scissor safety. Now, when you're holding your scissors, we're going to do some practicing first. So you're going to finish a practice I can cut test. That is just to make sure that before you get your picture, you are able to do a great job cutting, so that way you can get ahead on starting on your picture. So today you're going to cut along the dotted lines. There are some dashed lines on a piece of paper. There will be a wavy line, a straight line, a zigzag line, and kind of a diagonal line. It's important to take your time and cut so slowly. If you do big daddy shark chomps, it's going to be very messy and cut a bunch of lines that you might not want to cut out. You might not follow the dotted line. You want to do little tiny shark chomps and feed your scissors. Your scissors like to eat that dotted line, so make sure you feed them and you cut and chomp along that dotted line, but really small chomps. You have passed your scissor test and showed Miss Q that you cut along your dotted lines and you're using your scissors safely and correctly. You will get back your picture of you holding your giant art supplies. We are going to be cutting along the dashed line that Miss Q drew. Now this line is solid, but yours will be dashed so that you know that's where you cut and chomp along the line. Now it's important that you hold the paper with your other hand. That way you can turn the paper as you cut. I fast forwarded my video. I'm actually cutting really slowly, taking my time as I go along to make sure I don't accidentally cut anything off. I don't want to cut inside of that line. It's important that I only cut on the line so that I stay safely away from my head or any body parts that I could accidentally cut off. If I get to a tricky turn, instead of making a chomp, I'm going to stop and turn my paper like I just did so I can make sure that I'm doing a good job cutting on the line as close as possible. Every time I get to a new part of that line that's a little tricky, I need to turn my paper. I might even end up with my head upside down, and that's okay. You want to make sure that you're turning that paper as you cut and go very slowly. Take your time and do little tiny sharp chomps with the insides of your scissors instead of doing big daddy sharp chomps. That will make sure that you do a great job cutting along your lines. Now, when you're all done, you're going to throw away your scraps. Make sure that you keep your person nice and safe, but then you can crumple up your scrap paper, which we don't need, and throw that in the garbage. You're all done cutting and you've thrown away your scraps. We're going to talk about glue. We're going to be gluing these pictures of us to our very first art class paintings. Now, you get to choose. You just need to put it in a bottom corner, wherever you want to, but make sure you're not floating in the middle of the paper, because a lot of you don't have legs in your paper. So you want to make sure that you are not just floating in the middle, that you are on the bottom of the paper. Then raise your hand when you've decided, and Miss Q will come along and make sure that you've done a good job cutting. She might even cut out a little bit closer to that line to make sure that it looks fabulous. So this is the part that Miss Q will do for you if we got a little bit messy in our cutting. So make sure that you don't cut outside that line. Only Miss Q will do that if needed. Then we're going to talk about glue. When we're ready to glue, you want to have an idea of where you're going to put yourself on that paper. Do you want to put it in the bottom left corner? Do you want to put it in the bottom right corner? Do you want to have your paper vertical? You want to have it long ways and horizontal. It's totally up to you. You decide where you're going to put it. You're going to uncap your glue and then make sure that it's twisted, just peeking over the edge. You would never want to have it way up top like that. That would be messy. You want to have it just peeking over that edge. That's good. Then you're ready to glue. I'm going to put glue all along the back of my portrait and then stick it down when I'm ready. But I want to get glue all over all parts, even the cut paintbrush. Make sure that you are gluing all over the back and get every part, even a little part like the paintbrush there. You don't want to miss any glue spots so that it really sticks to your paper. After you've gotten glue on all of the back and not on the front, you're going to cap your glue stick so it doesn't dry out. Then put your glue stick aside because you are done with it. Then you're going to hover, meaning you're going to hold your picture above the paper. Don't stick it down yet in case you're not sure where you want to put it. You don't want to be a floating body in the middle of the paper, so you want to put it near the edge or bottom of a paper. Once you decide where you want it, probably the bottom left or bottom right of your paper, you're going to hold it down for 10 seconds. Make sure that you press down for 10 seconds on that picture so that you really are sticking to the paper. Otherwise, you might fall off. So I'm holding it down for 10 seconds. When I'm done, I'm going to make sure, let's see, I'm going to count 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and now it won't fall off. It is all glued to my paper. When I'm all done and I have thrown away all my scraps and I made sure that every part was glued to the paper, I turn my paper over, make sure it had my name and class code, put my scissors safely away and my glue stick in my bin, throw away all those little tiny scraps I'm finding on my paper, and then I am able to put my paper on the drying rack. We're not putting these in our table folders today because they could be a little bit gluey. If they are gluey and they are in your table folder, they're going to stick to other papers and that would not be good. So when you're done, you're going to put it safely on the drying rack and then use an art wipe to clean up your hands and your area. If you get a little bit of glue on your fingers today, it's okay. Just use an art wipe to clean them up. Of course, when you're done with your art wipe, don't put it back in your bag. You're going to put that in the garbage can along with your scraps. All right, awesome artists. Cannot wait to see your amazing first paintings and pictures. All right, artists.